Welcome to Win with lifestyle entrepreneurs Josh Williams and Justin Knoll. Each week, we will be bringing you inspiring people or messages to help you win in every aspect of life.
There it is.
Yay.
Live. Get it.
Here we go.
What's up, Brandon?
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. How are you, man?
Fabulous. I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, me too. I'm very glad I made it. It's good. Yeah. We might be a little bit late, but we're here. We're getting after it. That's all that matters.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to what?
Dude, I don't even. We're deep into
spring.
this.
It's spring.
Right.
That's all we know.
Right,
It's springtime,
yeah.
I think.
Hey,
it's confusing.
opening day for baseball was what, yesterday?
Yep.
Why does it start earlier?
I mean,
every year?
here's what I know.
Love it.
The Cubs won. And the Rockies won. So it was a good day all around.
50% ain't bad. Javi Baez is still garbage. Just saying.
You just say, did the Cardinals play yesterday?
They did.
How'd that go?
I don't know. I think they were too busy counting their rings to really
Oh,
worry about what the Cubs were
here we go
doing.
again. Here we go. Every time a Cubs fan starts talking about the Cardinals, I don't know. How many rings do we have again?
So let's just not
And I
talk
can't
Cubs
really
fan.
say much of that.
You can't.
Although
There's no
ours is
response.
most recent. So we'll just go with that.
Asterisk.
Well, hey, you guys, thanks for plugging in. Super excited today. You guys, I have known Brandon for a long time. Just an incredible guy. And he was somebody that when we started making our list of who we wanted on this podcast, it was a no-brainer. Like, we had to have you on at some point. So the thing with Brandon is that he's never home. So it's actually trying to be like, okay, is there a time within the next 3 months that you might be in the state of Colorado? And so we got one of those, and we're glad to have you here. So thanks for coming
Thanks
out,
for having me.
And then you almost
Good to
screwed
be
it
here.
up.
I almost screwed it up. That was another reason why I was not postponing anything. I'm like, I will be here. Yes.
That's
So, yeah. So,
welcome.
man,
Thank
we're
you.
super excited to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Excited to learn from you and give everybody else an opportunity to learn from you. So, yeah, thanks for being here.
So, Brandon, we've known you for a little bit. Obviously, I have not had as much experience.
You're luckier. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Stop it. But what little I do know about you is so incredibly impressive. And I'm excited
nice.
to hear
Thank
from
you.
you. But I want to give the listeners out here kind of some context on who you are, what you're doing, what you're about, kind of the basis of your success right now and what you're focused on. So tell us what you're up to, how you got to where you are, and anything we should know about you.
How I got where I am. That's a circuitous road. And when you ask about who I am, the first thing that comes to mind is I'm a dad of 5 kids.
I love
the
that.
best kids in the whole wide world.
Oh.
I feel terribly for you guys, for anybody else that has kids or will have kids, because I got the best kids in
best
the world.
ones.
But I mean, you'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
We'll take the second best.
You take the
Third
second best.
That's
They're
okay.
fine. They're
All right.
fine. Yeah. Your daughter posted something hilarious yesterday on Facebook. Did you see it? The chicken
Which
nuggets.
one?
Brooke. Brooks post. Yeah.
Oh, the
hilarious.
chicken nuggets?
Yes.
Yeah, I did see the chicken nuggets.
Good
my
stuff.
wife told me about that.
Yeah. So
We
Brooke-
can't let
Brooke's
people
pretty
go,
good.
so we just got to let them know real quick. Because they're like,
Yeah.
"What are you talking about, chicken nuggets?" So, there's been a study out there that says that if parents feed their kids too many chicken nuggets, they could be gay.
Yeah.
So my daughter sent that to my wife and said, "You obviously fed me too many chicken nuggets growing up because Brooke is gay." So it's like. We were dying laughing. We're driving home from California, and we're like, "Wow, Brooklyn
Brooke.
Williams."
Yeah, she wins again.
That's how she puts that out there. I'm like, "You are."
She just slayed it. Yeah.
This is serious?
This
Somebody
is a serious
said
post that my daughter posted up yesterday. Yeah, she's like, "This is why I love women right here. I ate too many chicken nuggets." I must have done the same thing. I
Yeah,
don't know.
exactly. I was crushing nuggets apparently too.
All right, sorry about that.
Bring
Little
it back
side
up.
note. Brandon, go ahead. Tell us a little
Oh,
more
yeah.
about you.
So you got pretty good kids too.
Yeah.
So 5 great kids, amazing, wonderful. 22 to 9 are their ages. It's amazing.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So my background, I served a 2-year church mission in Switzerland and Germany. I had friends that went to East LA and the slums of Brazil, and I went to Switzerland. So
Right.
life's unfair. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And since that time, I knew I wanted to impact people in some way. I wanted to write books or speak or do something. And when I came back, I kind of fell into sales. Isn't that how everybody gets into sales? You just
Yep.
fall into it, right? And I stayed in sales management for a long time because if you can sell, people keep you around. And
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where it was just so painful, and I knew I need to make a switch. And I prayed, and I said, Heavenly Father, where do you need me? This is killing me. And the answer was training, and I thought the way was going to open up really fluidly, and it's just going to be this awesome ride. Hey, you're going to make it happen. Cool. And I got fired, and so I had to work two really crap jobs in the meantime, trying to support a family, and it was just terrible times. And company picked me up to do some training, and since then I've been doing training, and I kind of fell into another thing that I love doing, which is social research or human behavior research.
Yeah.
So now I follow people around all day, and no, I don't do that.
I was wondering why you kept driving behind me. I was like, what is going on?
Kind of know everything about you. So I just study human behavior, organizational behavior, human behavior, and I look for patterns. I look for similarities. I look for why people do what they do. People are so incredibly interesting to me, and I want to dig deeper and find out. And so that's morphed into a couple things. I've studied millionaires, I've studied Olympians, I've studied cancer survivors, recovering addicts, and right now what I'm really hot on is verbal and mental abuse and why people get into those situations, why people become the bullies, and then how does somebody who's in a situation with a bully break free from that. First, how to recognize it, because it takes a long time to recognize what in the world is happening, and then break free from it. So that's one of the focuses right now, and then I may go do some speaking in schools on anti-bullying. There's about 400 things. I'm an entrepreneur. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
That's the best, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Like whatever it is, let's just be open to it, right?
Let's do it, right? Yeah.
So
I haven't finished many things just yet.
Right. That's fine. It's fine.
There's no accomplishment in my life, but sure, I've done a few things.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
I am so completely fascinated and also intimidated and nervous at the same time because I feel like I'm being studied right now. Like,
Well, you are.
I get what
You are.
You're sitting that way because of
I
this
have my
happened when you were
notepad.
7, right?
We can talk after. Yeah. I don't think Facebook needs to see all of that,
Yeah, this
Justin.
is a deep dive.
Yeah,
So I want to dig so far deep into the human behavior studies because I'm all about that as well, and just what drives people and what makes people tick and make decisions that they make. But I'm so incredibly fascinated by this. So I want to dig into this. I think we could spend the entire episode talking about exactly this, but I don't want to leave anything else out because I want to know, so you're out there studying people and you're expending a tremendous amount of energy and time on other people, which sometimes when we do that, whether you're in management or you're in leadership, right, you give, and there's not a lot coming back to you. So before we get into what you've learned and what you've studied and kind of what drives you next is, what do you do to feed your soul and your mind and your body and your spirit, and what does all that look like?
So a couple things before I get into that. Number one, I can tell that you are a student of human behavior. You're president of the Colorado Realtors Association, right?
Yeah.
So what it seems to me is that you're there because you want to serve people, right? That's the highest paid volunteer position you'll ever serve in, I'm sure. The reason you do that is you want to sow and invest in other people.
Yeah.
Sure, it helps gain some notoriety, some visibility for your business, but you're not doing it for that. You're doing it because you want to help other people succeed. You want to help people in your industry, competitors, do what they do better because that for you is the real win. So you've studied human behavior. You know where the real win is. And it's cool to be around people who get that.
Appreciate it.
Number two, that's very insightful. That, when you give, if you're not making sure something's coming back, then you're in the wrong spot and you can't sustain it. So that's very smart. A couple of things. So I have to start my day with spiritual knowledge, spiritual intake. I just can't function very well if I don't. I'm not at my best. So that looks like scripture for me or talks, something in that realm to help build me up and help get my mindset right. And then a little Guns N' Roses helps too. Sometimes you order
Amen.
it. Right? Yeah.
Here we go to some Guns N' Roses next.
Paradise City right after studying the scriptures. So that works really well for me. And I'll tell you, one of the things that gives me energy is being with other people in the classroom especially.
Yeah. It's incredible that.
Right.
That you can
Indeed.
feel it.
Yeah. And I'm wiped after a training day. You're totally wiped out. And so it's a little counterintuitive, but the training day, I call it playtime.
Yeah.
So I actually get energy when I'm doing that. And I do get energy and get the uplift when I'm talking to other people about their situation and about things that are happening for them. And if there's any wisdom I can impart, that for me is a real win. And my kids, of course, build and
That fills everything.
exactly
Right?
as much time as kids take and it doesn't matter how many kids you have. Kids are a lot of work. So
Yeah.
that gives me a build, and got some really cool friends in my life, and a special person right now who really helps build some of that energy.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
It's really cool.
Let me ask you a quick question. So we have so many people that plug in and watch that have kids or try to balance.
Yeah.
You got to try to balance having, obviously, a divorce situation where
Yep.
the time with their mom and you, and then you travel a lot. Like,
Yeah.
how do you balance the family time in that mix?
I heard a really good quote one time on balance from one of the millionaires I interviewed. I asked him, he was building a business. He was very busy in a volunteer calling. He was a father of, I don't know, I think it was 6 kids or something like
Yeah.
that. And I said, how do you balance it? And he shared with me a quote that somebody else shared with him, which is, there's no real balance.
Yeah.
You give attention to what needs to be given attention in that moment. And so I talked with another friend one time. Again, so I'm curious. I ask people all the time different questions. And I asked a friend of mine, Jesse, I said, how did you raise 2 wonderful, well-adjusted girls? And he said, I always made time for them. And I try to think of that when my kids, so for instance, last night I got home a little late and my daughter wanted to tell me about a concert she had been to, and I wanted to listen to it, but I also needed to get to bed. If I don't get 8 hours of sleep consistently, I get sick, I get cranky. I don't look as good as you on little sleep. So, I don't look as good as you
Took
at
a
all.
lot of makeup this
obviously.
morning, some, ice, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
you do have a little extra right there.
It's all right. I'll rub it in later.
Rub that later. Yeah, so the balance comes in that if I have to start my day with that stuff to feed my own self first, so put your own oxygen mask on first.
Yeah.
And then if the kids have a need, it's so hard sometimes because I'll be in the middle of a creative project, or I'll have a conference call later, or whatever it is. And so the balance comes in, and you just have to take those moments, I think, look them in the eye, and you spend the 5 minutes, however much time you've got, focused on them.
Yeah.
And that's one of the big things I've been hot after lately is being present in the moment.
Yeah.
I don't think many of us know how to be present anymore.
Right.
With social media especially.
I agree.
With all the head trash we've got going on, with all the comparisons to I'm not doing it as well as this person, or I'm not as successful as that person. We just have so much head trash that we can't slow down and just enjoy this moment right now.
So let me ask you a question on that. That is a great, and we're going to talk more about, but you've studied a lot of people who have done amazing things in their lives, Olympians,
Yeah.
millionaires, cancer survivors, all the people that you've interviewed. But yet, every successful person always looks up to somebody, or always has
Yeah.
somebody within their life that they're like, gosh, I really wish I could get that done.
Yeah.
How do you see people managing that piece? Like, how do you, gosh, I really want that. I really wouldn't need that. Because I do see it a lot on
Yeah.
social media. Hey,
Yep.
this, for in my case, right, this lender's closing with this real estate
Yeah.
agent. Gosh, I wish I was doing that. I wish I had all those
Right,
closings
yeah.
they were doing. Like, how do you study this stuff with people?
Yeah.
Like, what's the mindset and how to get through that and that type of stuff?
I love this question because as you asked that, what came to mind was an experience I had that reminded me of it. So rather than answer through the context of other people, I'll answer through my own context,
Yeah.
which I think kind of answers the question in a circuitous way. So when I was 19, I saw a casting call for Heritage Square Music Hall, and I wanted to work there in the worst way. So this was an old vaudeville-style theater in Golden at Heritage Square, and I had seen some of their productions, and they were funny. Have you ever been to one?
Yeah.
Oh,
As a
gosh.
kid, yeah.
I wanted to work. I wanted to be on stage and be with those actors in the worst way. So I saw a casting call, and I thought, this is it. This is my break, hot dog. So I practiced my song twice for my high school girlfriend and thought I was good because... I mean, come on, look at me, right?
Right.
Took me a while I thought I was going to be so successful in life because I'm charming, I'm handsome, I'm smart. And then I realized I'm none of those things, so I'd have to actually work. But at that point in time, I hadn't figured it out yet. So I was operating under this delusion, so I practiced, and they said, come ready for a dance audition, which meant, in my mind, I probably wore my show choir pants from high school with the satin stripe down the side.
Oh, man.
So I show up for the audition, I close my car door, and I start to walk to the music hall, and as soon as I did, I saw this blonde, mid-20s, late 20s, totally put together, pop out of her car and throw a leather satchel over her shoulder and stride with total confidence toward that music hall. And at that moment, I realized, I think I'm out of my league here. I don't think I calculated who would be coming to this audition.
Right.
So I turned, and I actually started to put the key into the keyhole.
No.
This was before we had fobs, right?
Yeah.
I turned to put the key in the keyhole, and I had this thought, just go in. You never know what can happen. All right. So I put the key in my pocket, and I thought, maybe this will be good practice for another audition or something. Yep. So just go in. As soon as I opened the music hall doors, there I knew for sure I was out of my league, overmatched, overwhelmed. I shouldn't even be here. Because I saw 2 professional actors that I had just seen in the Boulder Dinner Theater production of Guys and Dolls 6 months before.
Right.
So if it wasn't enough in the parking lot to think I'm out of my league, now I know for sure. But immediately I had this thought, they're just people. Go talk to them.
Yeah.
So I strode right up to them. I extended my hand and I said, Barrett, Allie, it's so great to meet you. My name is Brandon Pipkin. You did such a great job at Guys and Dolls 6 months ago. I really enjoyed it. And they said, oh, that's so nice. What are you here for today? What part do you hope to get? And they were so genuine and real and wonderful.
I wasn't sure if they were going to be that or if it was going to be the Pitch Perfect where they're like, whoo,
Yeah.
uh-oh,
Keep it
you know,
moving.
right, move on.
Like Bumper? Right? Take care. Nerd alert. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So they were every bit wonderful, or they were great actors. One of the two.
Yeah.
It didn't matter to me, but they were wonderful.
Right.
So we go into the dance audition, and we got partnered up. And so I'm doing my little dancing with my partner. And what I saw next told me for sure, for the 3rd time, if the other 2 weren't enough, I knew this time, I'm overwhelmed, I'm out of my league, I'm overmatched, I shouldn't even be here, because it was one of the directors cupping her hand and talking to the other one while pointing directly at me. And there was no mistaking it. She was pointing directly at me.
Oh, no.
And I knew what she was saying. Can you believe this guy showed up
He
today?
should have stayed in his car.
Seriously, right? Exactly.
They're grabbing the cane to
get a
hook him
load of
off.
this,
Like,
right?
let's go.
This is
Let's
awesome, right? That we should have him just for comedic value. This is way too good. And I really knew she is mocking me, and I shouldn't even be here. And yet I remembered something my high school show choir teacher taught me, which was, if you're dancing, you should smile, because then people will look at your face and not your feet. So if you mess up, they don't notice it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Isn't that great advice?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, I want you to understand, though, with a face like this, I knew that was a risk, calling attention to it. But it was a risk I had to take. So I smiled even bigger, and I danced even bigger. And I actually got the part.
No.
Yeah, I got the part. So I guess what she was saying is, I think he's got what we need.
That's
But you see, I thought she was saying, dude, you're nothing.
Yeah.
Well, first couple of days of practice, I'm practicing my monologue. And so I was the prince. And don't laugh. She miscast me, whatever. So I was the prince, and I was being very princely in all of my mannerisms and practicing. And Annie stopped me, and she said, Brandon, stop, time out. What are you doing?
Right.
I said, well, I'm practicing my lines, of course. What else would I be doing right now? And she said, stop. Seriously, where are you getting that motivation to be the prince? Why are you performing the prince in that way? I said, well, I imagine if you had hired Barrett, this is the way he would play the prince. She looked at me, and she taught me something I'll never forget. She said, Brandon, if I had wanted Barrett, I would have hired Barrett. I wanted you, I hired you.
Yeah.
So when you ask, how do people manage that process? All I can answer is, how do I manage that process? Because I still do it. I look at my buddy, and he's traveling all the time, and he and his wife, she's got a travel business, he's a realtor, and I think, golly, what a charmed life. They're always gone. And then I realized, I'm always traveling too. I'm never in town, right? I go to some pretty cool places. I'm going to Sydney, Australia in a month for work.
Oh, my.
It's not terrible, right? I
Yeah.
do some cool things. But when we get into comparison, when we get into, I should be doing it this way, I should be doing it that way, the thing that I come back to anyway is, we all have unique gifts, talents, and abilities. Unique gifts, talents, and abilities that we were given with which to bless the rest of the world. And if we try to play somebody else's part, the world is deficit of what we could have added.
Yeah.
Imagine all these great people in life that we look up to, these great leaders, these storied historical figures. If they had tried to play somebody else's part, we would be deficit of their contributions.
Yeah, that's deep, and I don't even know where to go with that. Because
Does it answer the question at
it
least?
answers my question 100%.
Okay.
I
We
Dude,
are
I'm never
speechless for the
speechless,
first
yeah.
time on this show. Yes.
But I think I've been more intentional on listening and digesting what I'm hearing, and the intake is so much more important than the output right now for me, and I'm super focused on that. And what just happened for me is everything you were talking about, I was able to just reflect on personally, and I've fallen into every single trap that you've talked about, competing with others, trying to be something else that you think somebody wants you to be. Like this happens currently and we stand here and we tell the world who we think we are, and this is what I'm about, and then we go into our private time, and we are not that genuine person to ourselves, right?
That's
It starts
right,
at home. For me, I find myself competing with what somebody else is doing and saying, well, I've got to get on that level plus, right? Man, thank you for the frying pan to the head again of stop it, right? It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing, because our individual contributions to this world is what the world needs. I firmly believe that. And if you're trying to do what and replicate what somebody else is doing, you're cheating the world. You're cheating yourself. You're cheating the world.
That's a great way to put that. You're cheating yourself. You're cheating the world.
Yeah,
And I love your authenticity
I love this.
to recognize that, yes, we fall into that trap of what others want us to be or what we think they're requiring of us. And I fall into that. I'm preparing for a presentation that I'm doing on Monday, and I always want to find out from my client what is a home run. And then I want to bring what I can bear to bring that home run. And the home run is one I want to deliver, but then the way that I thought I needed to deliver it, I kept thinking, okay, this is probably what they're used to. This is probably what they're expecting.
Yeah.
And it took that conversation with a couple different people, and most especially with that special person in my life, that just helped remind me, they hired you, they want you, bring what you've got to the table, it will be enough.
You're enough.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
goosebumps, you guys.
That's
I
good.
hope you're getting this for yourselves as well. This is the most important thing I think I've heard in quite some time. Thank you for going deep, man.
Great question.
This is
Thank you.
phenomenal. So there's one other thing that you said before that I hope that we can all kind of really be more open to, and that is, for so many that are either speaking or teaching or managing or any of those things where it's a full output of energy, right? And then you just leave it on the table and then you walk away exhausted, right? I talk to so many realtors, and they could have been digging ditches for 3 years previously or doing real physical work.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more tiring than showing 10, 15 houses in a day.
No kidding.
Because it's physically taxing. It's
That's right.
mentally taxing. You're constantly on.
You're on
You're
all
on,
day.
right?
Yeah.
And the performance starts and you have to be there. And then when the clients get out of your car, it's this immediate rush of like, oh my gosh, I'm wiped out. I'm ready for bed and it's 5 o'clock, right?
Exactly.
And I think one thing that you said that I'm going to be more cognizant of is you don't wait to go empty to get refueled. You're allowing the people you're speaking to fuel you. So as your tank is starting to empty, it's almost holding still, because while you're speaking, you're getting that energy back and you're accepting it. So many of us don't accept it, right? We just stand on stage and say, it's my show, it's what I'm doing.
That's
I'm going to
right.
give my all and I'm going to leave it out here. And by the time I'm done, you're going to know I gave it. But what you said is, I'm doing all that plus being open to the energy return. That is, man.
I learned two incredible lessons, one from Jeffrey Holland and one from Doug Krug. So Jeffrey Holland put it this way. He said, you're not teaching, when you're teaching a formal lesson, he said, you're not teaching a lesson, you're teaching students. And that has helped warp my mindset a little bit. And then Doug Krug, I worked with him at a company called Enlightened Leadership. He got a call one day from the FBI headquarters, and they said, hey, we have a field office that really needs your help. They've messed something up, and so they need you to help unwind it. And he did mindset stuff and stuff like that. And so as he was flying to the field office, the idea came to him of what he was going to do.
Yeah.
I said, wait a minute, you said as you were flying to the office, it came to you what you didn't know before you boarded the plane what you were going to do? He said, no, I just knew it would come to me. And he taught me through that experience and others to follow your gut. So when I'm in a training class, reading the room, playing my hunches, picking up on what's happening over there, what did this person say? Why did they say that? Dig into it deeper. If you are there, and I like the words you use, you said sometimes we stand up on stage and we say, this is my show.
Yeah.
If it's your show, well then when you're done, that's what they will have taken it as. It was your show.
Yep.
But if you're attuned to them, and I'm not great at it by any means, I'm just saying this is what I try to do. If you make it about them, then it's the two-way street, and all are uplifted and edified by all, and it's much more impacting to them, I think, because it's their show.
I agree with both you guys on that. I think that's a huge thing. I know I've been at fault of standing up in front of a room and creating my show, right? I know I've done that. But I will tell you, the ones that have been most successful are the ones where I am walking the room. I'm literally in between rows. I'm engaging with everybody.
Which is where you're strong.
That's where you should be at. And I think I can look back at those ones where it was me, and I'm like, gosh dang, even though at the moment I felt like, damn, I
Right,
am
it crushed
on.
it.
I freaking killed that. I know that after the fact, I'm like, dude, that wasn't that good because you got zero feedback. You got zero love on that. So you guys both, that's huge. That's a huge, huge thing. I think that everyone's got to remember that.
Or what's tempting is because you are good at putting on that show, and I don't mean putting it on fake.
Yeah.
I mean, you give a good show, buddy.
Yeah.
You've got the energy. You've got the power. Pardon me. I'm getting choked up about this. You've got the energy. You've got the power. You've got the pop. You can deliver it that way, and you will get good feedback about it. And that can sometimes be very deceiving because then it strokes the ego, and we say, oh, I obviously killed it. I crushed it.
Right.
Let's keep going. But it's not as powerful as where your true strength is, Josh, which is let's bring everybody to the party. Let's pull the very best out of people.
Yeah.
So we get wasted up on our own petard, and we start to read our own news clippings and focus on those wrong things if we're not careful about it.
Amen. Oh, what a dangerous game, right?
Yeah, totally.
What a dangerous game because you do yield some bit of authority or power. I'm not sure the right words, but people look at you in a different sense when you're teaching or managing or in a leadership position, and you lose that genuine appeal and that genuine message to them. It's incredible. So I want to pivot and kind of dig into what you've learned, right?
Yeah.
Because you've done an incredible amount of study, as we've talked about, athletes, cancer survivors, millionaires, the whole thing. Tell us about some things you've learned, maybe things that you were shocked or surprised by, or things that you thought, man, if you could boil it down to just one thing, this is it, and quiet the noise on everything else. Is there anything out there like that?
Yes. And recently, what I've been churning on is one of the prime lessons I learned from interviewing the millionaires, which is work hard. In today's society, we have a whole lot of information available to us. We take in a lot of information, but if we're not doing anything with it, what are we doing? So one of the great surprises when I interviewed the millionaires was they didn't have these grand plans and visions of where they wanted to be, where they were going to go. Instead, it unfolded line upon line.
Yeah.
A little bit here, a little bit there, and then they could look back and say, oh, that worked really well. The way that all those things opened up to them, though, was they just worked hard, whatever they were doing. And so that's the message I have for anybody is I want to bring back the good old-fashioned virtue of hard work for the sake of hard work. It's a 4-letter word in our society today. And a lot of us think, or a lot of us believe that we're working hard, and really we may not be.
Yeah.
And part of it is, in our society, we've tricked ourselves because we say, work smarter, not harder. So we're trying to get smarter, instead of just go out and push the plow for 12 hours.
Right.
And I fall into this intensely because the way I grew up, I always thought, well, I'm doing this wrong, I'm doing that wrong. And that was the message that I internalized a lot was, you're not doing it right. So I always looked for the best way to do it. And from what I learned from them was go out, hitch the horse up, and go plow for 12 hours and get something done. And if it's not the most effective way, you'll figure it out after a while. Yeah. Don't study and try to find out the most effective way before you get going. Just start. What is it right here? Start anywhere. Love that right up there. Yeah, exactly. Start now, start today. So that's one of the prime things that I've learned.
That's freaking incredible. I mean, here's the deal. We have conversations with people. I actually just had a conversation with Justin yesterday just about, working, one of the things he asked me is what's what are 3 things that you're great at, and that's because I've tried to simplify things, like, oh, I can do it this way, I can do it that way. And even Justin's like, hey, Josh, don't just be the marketer. Like, figure out these different things to do, right? It is true where all of that comes back to just freaking working your ass off and getting after it. When I see people that are super successful in our industry, in most industries, it's because they did work hard. That is the secret.
Yeah.
Just work your freaking butt off.
Secret.
You will get better and streamline some of the things you work with so that you will get smarter with it, but you still have to put the work in.
That's right.
If you don't put the work in, you're not going to get anywhere.
You get nothing. And again, I still struggle with this. I look at people who have a lot better... I believe my content is okay, right? And I look at people who have content that I don't think is up to my standard, and I get so frustrated thinking, why are people buying this stuff? Oh, yeah, because their content is out there and mine's not, right?
Yeah.
I can have the best content in the whole world in my head. I'm not benefiting anybody by that.
Right.
Well, great, Brandon, pat yourself on the back.
Right,
You're
right.
awesome in your own mind, right? But unless people have access to it, then I'm not doing anybody any favors. And again, my content isn't even my content. All I do is I study great people and I show other people, here's what I've learned from other people. So please don't think that I'm saying my content is awesome. I just study what great people do, and that's what I try to bring to other people.
I think it's huge in the understanding of not much these days is original thought or an original idea, right? It's all an offshoot of something else. It's something we've plowed for 12 hours and said, man, if I tweak this little thing tomorrow, do I turn my 12 into a more productive 12 and get further, right? And I think that's what we see, but so many people are out there just trying to find the new thing, right? The new, entirely brand new, and it's like...
Yeah, they're so focused on the tweak instead of actually putting the work in to figure out how to get to that.
Amen. And that's why I read 100 business and personal development books when I was trying to find the secret sauce, because I wanted to know that tweak, that this, that, and finally I recognized you just go do something.
Just go to work.
Yeah. What a concept.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So I could see that works for millionaires. I could see that works for
Olympians.
Olympic athletes. Let's transition into the cancer survivor, because I've got in my head what I think hard work means for them.
Yeah.
But I want to hear what really, because it wasn't about hard work for them. There were days they couldn't physically work, right? So
That's right.
What was that about?
And before we get into that, I love this quote that one of my friends posted. Her husband has been battling cancer, I think, for 5 years now, and it's been ups and downs, and they've got a young family, 3 or 4 kids, something like that. And so it's been a wild ride for them. And she was talking to her sister-in-law, who said it's really a misnomer when we say beat cancer, because that implies if you die from cancer, you didn't beat it. You didn't fight hard enough. You're a loser. Right? I love
damaging.
that. How
Holy
damaging,
cow.
right? Yeah. So, and even these things that say, forget cancer, screw cancer, whatever, we do these bumper stickers.
Yeah.
Okay, I get where we're coming from, right? Let's fight it. Do we really have the control over that? Right. No. Right. You can mentally, emotionally, physically do all that you can, and yet there's a grand design in the universe, and trying to fight against the grand design is a losing battle. Yeah. And sometimes the lesson is not, I have to overcome the cancer. Sometimes the lesson is, don't let the cancer overcome you. You may die from the cancer, but that doesn't mean the cancer overcame you.
Right.
Sometimes it's how you live through terrible experiences that you and the world learn the most from those. So the way that they work hard, I think, is you be authentic. Yeah, this hurts. This sucks. I got 3 kids that I don't know if I'm going to see in 2 months. I got 3 kids who I would love to see graduate high school, and who knows if that's going to happen.
Right.
So you embrace the pain, you accept that, and then you go to work creating what you want to have happen within that context, within that reality.
Yeah.
So they've spent time with the kids. They asked the kids, what's one thing you want to do with Dad if his time on Earth is limited? What's the one thing you want to do? And one kid wanted to go to Lego World with Dad, and another one wanted to play a board game.
Right.
So you think about that. What did that kid want to do? He wanted to play a board game. So how does Eric fight in that situation? He plays a stinking board game with his son.
The most simple.
Right.
Yeah.
Just spending time.
That's right.
All right, well, tissue time
right
over here.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine, but that hard work has to be, it doesn't stop, right? It doesn't stop because if you're not putting in the hard work that I would kind of think is keeping that mental side of I'm not dead.
Right.
I'm still here.
I'm not dead.
There's a reason, like you said, there's a plan.
Yeah.
And my plan is not done yet. So how do I work hard while I'm battling this horrible thing to go play the board game or to go to Lego World or whatever it is? And I think it's all mindset, right?
That's right.
It's just being incredibly positive. We say positive all the time, but you nailed the word, and that's genuine.
Yes.
So I think to our core, we're all pretty positive.
Yeah.
I want to believe that. But being the genuine person when you're struggling brings the positive out.
Don't be afraid to acknowledge, I don't want to be here right now. This doesn't feel good. Yet not wallow in it. Right? And that's where social media does us such a disservice, because then we want to wallow in it or whatever, or we want to put on that pretty face that here's how awesome I am through this whole thing. Just be authentic in it. The ups, let them be ups. The downs, let them be downs. And
because you are going to have both. You are going to go through those. I mean,
right.
we've watched it, and we've watched people go through those things, and you just want to spend that quality time. The authentic piece of it, I think, is huge. That's everything right there. Like, if you just want to spend that quality time with your family, spend that quality time. there is people who will use social media to put on a front during that time.
There are?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But, it's just
I don't mean to, put them down by any means, but we all use social media to a degree to put on whatever show we want. But yeah, go ahead.
Right.
No, I mean, that's it. I mean, just be authentic. One thing I've done, and it's just, and I'm just saying, I think somebody else did this. That's where I got it from. And it was somebody that was going through an illness that they weren't going to make it. They were going to pass away.
Yeah.
And they just made sure their family knew they loved them, right? And so, every day you can call my dad. He knows I'm going to call him at 8:30, 9 o'clock every day. My mom knows I'm going to call her every single day. My brothers, my sisters, they know I'm going to call them every day just to say, hey, I love you. Because I don't know if today's the day.
That's right.
I'm going on an hour and a half of sleep.
That's right.
I may not make it home, and Trish will be a little upset about the car, but she'll be more upset that I didn't make it home, right? So I'm joking, but if that was to happen, right?
Exactly.
At least they know where we stand.
That's right.
That's authentic peace. Know that they love you, and just go with it.
Which is one of the things I've admired about you is your kids absolutely know. There is no question in their mind where they stand with their dad.
Yeah.
They know that they are the pinnacle.
It's just so important that you let those people in your circle, whether they're family or not, know where they are.
Yeah.
Just let them know.
You bet.
Josh, one thing we've not really ever talked about that I admire so much about you is you just said it, and it hasn't come up in here for whatever reason. We missed that opportunity, but every single day you call your family.
Yeah.
Every day you make the rounds and call your family, whether you're pissed off at them, whether you agree with them or not, whether it's snowing or raining, whether it's sunny, whether you have 15 appointments back to back, you call your family every day.
A lot of time I'm really bored driving, and I'm just kidding. No, yeah, it is silly. That. It is that. They just need to know that I love them, man, and that's it, right? Because I used to look at death in a really bad way, and we're not going to go down this road, but it used to scare the crap out of me. Well, death didn't scare me. I love being with you guys. I love being with my family. It's the loss of being with the people I'm around. So what a better way to let them know when I am gone, hey, Josh loved us. He let us know all the time. I've told everybody when I do pass, there better be a freaking party. And there better be a DJ. I want Mexican food. I don't care what's going on. It's going to be legit. It's going to be off the hook.
Tank tops and board shorts, flip-flops.
Yeah. Party up, right? Because that's how I want things to be, right? So, I don't know, man. It's just, I just think that everybody should do that. You should never go to bed angry.
Yeah.
You should always my wife will get pissed at me because I just don't like going to bed angry. So I'll bother her. I'll hug on her. I'll stop freaking touching me, babe. I love you.
Yeah.
Let's not go to bed angry.
Yeah.
Which makes her more angry. But
you get that one laugh out of her, right?
Yeah, to work on it.
So, Brandon, I want to wrap up with a couple of things. And that is, number one, where can we get your stuff? Because I want to read this. I want to dig more into this. I want more context than what you've provided here today. So where can people find your stuff? And then number two is, what is next, man? I am dying to know where you're going next. And you may not even know, but I'm so excited. I'm so excited. BrandonPipkin.com,
BrandonPip, as in Paul, KIN.com, BrandonPipkin.com. That's the best and easiest place. Okay. And what's next? Yeah, I'd love to know myself. You're exactly right. I have no idea.
You're going to Sydney next month. After that, I don't know.
Right. Who knows? Yeah, it was October of 2017. I felt unsettled in my business, and I knew I needed to change something, adapt something, and I didn't know what it was. And it took me a few months of praying and trying to focus and get internally centered and find out what it was. In about October timeframe, it coalesced into get together all the lessons that you learned during your divorce. Because I had a phenomenal counselor, somebody who was a gift. And so I put together all the things that I learned, and I thought, well, maybe by March I can turn this into an online course just to help people with these general life things. For instance, keep your own sidewalk clean. Don't worry about what somebody else is doing. Worry about your own stuff.
Yeah.
If somebody is mean to you, keep your own sidewalk clean. Set appropriate boundaries, and boundaries aren't, I'm going to make you do this if you do this. Boundaries are, I'm going to walk away if you treat me like that. Or I'm not going to give you the benefit of my help in that situation because I don't want to be around you if you're going to treat me like that. So I thought those life lessons could be very helpful. Well, then it kind of morphed into some of that other stuff about verbal bullying. And so again, I hope to have everything done by March of 2018. And the online course is still not done, so you can see how well that worked.
Yeah, that's all right.
Because as I was putting together the course, a whole bunch of people kept coming into my life who needed that information right away.
Yeah.
And so I just took time to talk with them. And
Yeah.
and it was kind of funny. I had a conversation, and I said, okay, Heavenly Father, this is kind of funny. I appreciate what's happening here, but can I get back to the course, please? That you told me to make.
Right.
And it's as if he said, I told you to build the course, and this is why. Okay, all right, never mind. I'll
Yep.
just whatever
I'll
you want me to
stop
do.
asking.
Okay,
Yep,
fine.
yep.
And then it still kept going. But then I started to think, okay, am I looking at every problem as a nail because I'm carrying a hammer? Am I just seeing a whole bunch of people who are in these situations just because I'm looking for it? And again, the answer was as if he said, I told you to get ready, and this is why. And so now I'm trying to help these people, and there's a lot of people in those bad situations.
Yeah.
So I got to get that content out there. So that's one thing I need to do. But I've also got that presentation Monday that I've been heads down trying to focus in on, trying to be somebody else for a while. Now I'm coming back to being myself on it, and just staying open to whatever the message is, whatever I think he needs me to do. That's where I want to be.
You're the vessel. You're the vehicle. Right.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
He could have chosen a lot better ones, but whatever.
You're very humble.
Yeah.
But I don't know that you need to be, my friend. It is incredible to see what you've done. It's incredible you can feel this energy. I'm sure you feel it right now when you speak about your passions and when you speak about what you've learned and what you're turning it into next in the anti-bullying thing. I can feel the palpable energy coming off of the
That's
positive where you want to go next. It's
Thank you.
incredible, man. I'm so honored that you shared everything with us today. And
Thanks for having me.
It's just so cool. I'm blown away. I am absolutely blown away by the things that back-to-back sides of notes. Just
Right.
like I can't wait to go to work and implement some of these things. And thank you for being real and honest and genuine and sharing and taking time out of your crazy ass schedule, man.
My pleasure.
This is awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Usually we go to something we call the fat kid moment of the week.
Yeah.
And so Josh and I struggle,
Yeah.
as you could tell. I mean, you just look at this camera, look at the.
Struggle with being
Always
phenomenally
put the
gifted
skinny
and good
kid in
looking.
the middle. Always put the skinny kid in the
But
middle.
we struggle, right? And we've been real and we've been honest, and that's been part of what we want to do. But I've been
Nice.
thinking a lot of what you focus on expands, right? Literally,
That's right.
Literally in our
That's
waistline.
right.
And so
you seen my belly?
I want to push pause on this and put that stuff to the side for a while, and not
do it.
even bring it up, and just go. You know what? When we come back, we're going to talk about our successes rather than our challenges.
Nice.
Because I'm done talking about it because I found myself, Josh, honest to God, I found myself going through a good stretch, and then I'm like, well, shit, I'm not gonna have anything to talk about in the fat kid moment, so I better go have some freaking peanut butter wafer.
I better go
cookies.
grab some right now. Piper, what we got
Yeah,
up there?
what we got? Have you been to our house lately? The cupboards are pretty bare.
It's for work.
Yeah, exactly.
It's for work.
Let's eat 10 Cliff Bars tonight. Like that's the fat kid moment. So I'm gonna push pause if you're okay with it.
I like it. I like it. Yeah. Refocus that. I
Here
like
we
it.
go. Here
All
we
right.
go. So we'll bring back our positive, life-changing, transformative, slimming selves.
Slimming. There you go. There it is. I like it. I like it.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, hey, Brandon, thank you so
Thanks,
much,
buddy.
man. Appreciate it.
I
You guys,
appreciate
I
you.
appreciate everybody plugging in. Hopefully, you guys got a ton from that. Plug into Brandon. He is so phenomenal to hang out with, to talk with. I mean, obviously, you can see the things that he can deliver to you, can help you as long as you implement those in your life. And so that's it, man. Nothing but love for you. You guys
you.
have a great week, and we'll see you next week. That's it.
Happy
Thanks for
spring.
tuning in.
Go Rockies.
Love it.